Hello and welcome back to another episode. We're back up on the church today, as I mentioned in the end of the last video. The plan today is me hop out of here. We are wanting to complete the church itself. Main problem for that is this huge bit of land that we need to clear out. Because what I have planned is, just get down here. I want this back part of the church to be kind of like a graveyard-y type area that you normally see in churches. So this is probably going to come out quite a way over here. It's probably also going to come out over here as well. So I need to dig this bit back, and we also just need to dig this back because this is just too close to actually make the church look anything reasonable. So I want to kind of clear this out. This dirt back all the way to probably about here, I think is probably a reasonable distance. And what I'm going to do from there is I'm going to kind of rebuild kind of a bit more of a cliff up. So rather than it kind of just dipping back down here, I want it to have like a quite high cliff up here, so we can probably build some housing on top of it as well. So that's job number one. So I'm going to quickly get that sorted, drop a beacon down, and we will catch up once I've done that. Alright, so now that that's a bit done, what I've gone and done is I put some grass down and leveled it all off, and got a bit ahead of myself and made some kind of like scaffolding, I'd call it, of where I want the cliff face to go. As you can see, I'm kind of wanting to go for kind of having a bit tapered in and a bit tapered back out near the top, just so it's a bit less flat, or so it's not kind of like just starting here and then working way back. And the plan with this is just to go down the whole sides now and kind of just make the sizes a bit different, and just work my way up really, so that we get I guess like a more natural looking cliff face. And we're just going to do that all the way across, and we're going to end up with a cliff sorted just in stone for now before I add any texturing on. Okay, so now that that bit's done, we've got the cliff sorted out. Next thing to do is I want to texture all this up so it's not just all just stone, because it doesn't look too great as it looks okay, but it can look better. So I've gone and got some different colour grey blocks, and we just want to kind of find a place to start texturing. So let's pick this bit over here. Let's make a start. So I'm just going to go with some general texturing. So I'll probably start with kind of like the more bits that are kind of like more into the actual cliff itself and go some darker colours. So we can start with just quickly, there we go, get that one up there as well. Start with some more darker colours. So then we have something that looks like that, where the more bits that are inside are more darker to kind of like emphasize shadow. And as you can see, like, we can keep it deep slate like that, and then we can start bringing out some different colors. So let's quickly get up there. Please hold. There we go. So let's use those as an example. We can clear those out, then we can go with some more dark colors, so we can try a bit of the old stuff for now, when I can get both pieces in. There we go. And obviously that kind of blends it in a bit nicer now, so we've got kind of like a bit of a transition from the dark of the deep slate, the dark more blacky colours, to some more greys in the tough. And then we just want to kind of work it out from there really, so we'll probably end up with some of the more visible areas like this, using things like andesite, and we might end up taking some of these areas that are kind of like out here. They want to use like things to emphasize highlights, so we might end up using a bit of glaze to really bright spots, have some andesite here, and then because obviously this cliff is down at the bottom here, it's not technically going to be all kind of like smooth stone. It might be a bit of cobble, which kind of gives it a bit more of a bright colour and emphasises that it might have been kind of like carved away a bit to make room for the church. So I'm going to kind of like keep at this, and we'll come back to this once I've done all this. We'll pretend that probably the next 3 to 4 hours of my time has not disappeared into this. I'll show a quick update of that. Okay, so small progress update. I've been going along for a bit now. I've done kind of most of this area, as you can see, using kind of like the darker colours in the inlets, a bit more highlights on the outer bits. I am at night time now rather than just sleeping. I've found quite a little handy tip I've been doing. So rather than kind of like trying to wing this and figuring out, oh well, it's inside, it's dark, use those for the darker areas, I've kind of just been using the shadow created at night, because as you can see, like, the shadow is further in some bits, and I've noticed some bits where it wasn't as obvious. So I mean, let's go with this and do a quick experiment. So this bit is obviously seems fairly obvious to do. I can get rid of these bits, and then I can turn this into using deep slate. That is quite inlaid, makes more sense, but trying to give it a bit more texture, it's not just those dark bits. So I've been like, oh, this bit looks slightly more darker as well, shade with the shadow. So I've kind of just been chipping these bits away as well, and put those in there to give that corner a bit more darkness. And then, oh, this bit's kind of a bit less dark, as is that bit. I'll use tough. I probably could have used dark grey wool, but I haven't got any. This kind of gives it a bit more of a mucky colour as well, just looks like weathered. But yeah, and this bit as well, that doesn't look too shadowed, but I can give that a bit more shading with the deep slate there. And then it's quite handy with the bits further down as well when I get near to the bottom. So I can kind of just do this bit as well, because this is not as far out. Well, as far back I should say. Quickly get some more deep slates. But all kind of like added together, because I can kind of put that there. That kind of just looks like a shadowed in there, and I can kind of give this more of a highlight. Go with cobblestone at the bottom. A bit of andesite to kind of like look like it's blending into the cobble on the cobble and the stone. And then this, I can kind of give this a bit more of a mucky colour with the tuff. I think that one's a bit too far. Up. No, that's wrong again. Get my piece right. There we go. And there. And it kind of like blends it all in together. And again, this bit right here, we clear that out and pop that back in there. So just overall, it's giving it a bit more of a nicer texture, I think. I won't continue on. Maybe do another progress update, or continue on, come up with a full finished piece. Okay, so that's problem number 1 sorted. We've got the cliffs done now. Not gone too crazy with the texture in there, as I wanted to keep it, well, yeah, not too crazy. What I've got to do now is figure out how big of a graveyard area is that I want to make, and kind of like wall this off. I need to kind of do a bit of terraforming here, make a little bit of a bumped up raised area. So I've got an idea for a mausoleum crypt type building. I've not got any plans to put in it yet, but it's an idea for an entrance to a future farm should we need it, and I'll hide that away. So I started off by using tuff, just drawing out a rough line of where I wanted the wall to be, and then once I got that and I was happy with it, I then went back and started texturing that out using a combination of some tuff walls, some slabs, and then throwing in bits of mossy stone bricks and slabs and stairs just to texture it, give it a bit of depth so it wasn't just a flat too high wall all around. It looks a bit more interesting. And once that was done, I used some coarse dirt and went and made a rough kind of path area through the sides of the church and in the back of the graveyard to give me an idea of where I wanted the paths to be leading up towards the crypt and mausoleum area. And that's given me a good idea of where I need to start making that. Alright, so this is where we're going to build the crypt. I've marked out the area for us. Very simple build. What I want to do, so quickly just mark this out. This is going to be a mix of tuff and stone, so let's quickly throw the base down for this. This is going to be the entranceway right here, and we're going to go up a couple. These side bits are going to be a mix of chiseled stones to just give it a bit more definition. We're going to go with the tuff again. That's going to be repeated on the back. And then for the rest of it, around it, it is just going to be stone bricks. For the sides here, it's just going to be a very simple kind of... I'm going to have some windows in here just to give it a bit of light and so you can see inside. So just dig out this area for these. Because it's kind of like an old crypt. I didn't decide to put any glass in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some iron bars just to make it look a bit... I don't know, would I say old or menacing? I'm not sure. But glass certainly didn't feel like it fit with the idea for this, so what I need to do now is actually try and get under here, which I probably can't because that's all empty. Let's do that. Get in 1, get in 2, number 3, and put in number 4. I've quickly head back to the front, we'll head up onto the roof now and make a start on that. So first thing I want to do is get some andesite in there for a bit of different texture, and this will look a bit better once everything else is in place. And then make a start on the roof, so we'll get some tough bricks in on this side, and then we'll get the same on this side, and this is going to be forming part of the roof. Get the chiseled tuff I've got, that can go in the middle, that's going to be the point of the roof. Get some more tough bricks in there, and then where are we? Get some polished tough slabs. These can go in there. Oh, these are actually one too far back, so let's quickly grab those. Everything wants to go forward one more, so fix that. There, there, and here as well. And then let's get those chiseled tough blocks again. I'll drop one in there and one on that side. Let's move. Oops. Yeah, that and that. Do the same on this side. We'll get all these in across here. Now that is the basics of the roof. Let's get that in there for a little bit of texture, and then get rid of that. And then just to give it a bit of an overhang, do the same on this side. Well, both sides I should say. That. Put one there and one there. That gives a bit more detailing on for the windows there. Get this side done as well. That. Don't stand in the hole. And that. And then for the front, if we grab some of the brick walls, and this just gives it a bit more detail on the front, so it's not just all super flat. Do that and that. And then let's get, do I have any stairs? I do not have any stairs. Stair required, and the last bit there, that puts that in. And then just to give a final bit of a touch on the fronts, I am going to drop some chains in there, and we'll get some soul lanterns. I went with soul lanterns because it's a graveyard and it looks a bit more ominous than just regular lanterns. Alright, so that's that done. Now, next job is the floor inside. Now, I've not gone... well, I've not decided to be super detailed with the inside because I don't know what I'm doing quite yet with this. So as I say, the plan is to have this as an option for the entrance to a farm because I can always do it underground here. So let's quickly pop all this in. So the idea I've got for the moment is just keeping it, or put something in here to make it look like kind of like a crypt or a gravestone, headstone thing. So very super basic. Chop these in, and then they don't look like much, but it'll do. So yeah, that's the mausoleum crypt. I still don't know which one's the correct term for that. Done. The idea obviously I had for this was this is kind of like where rich family of the village kind of like buries the dead rather than just being with the regular people. So now that's that out of the way, I know where that's going to be. The next job is to finish all of this off, so I do plan to do a time lapse for this one because there's going to be a lot of detail and a lot of texturing, well, terraforming, and lots of stuff to do. So I'm going to time lapse this one and then we'll catch up once I've done this. And with that, we have done. Now, oh, I'll help. It's not Sunday service, I'm afraid. You'll have to wait. Oh, we'll ignore that guy. He's a bit eager to go in. But yeah, we've done all of the terraforming and kind of all the texture and everything of the ground now. So, I mean, this is the front area. I've kind of followed a similar pattern all the way through, where I've kind of got a bit of a rough path. I didn't want it looking too clean and fancy. As like I said before, we are in kind of a rural-ish area, and I've tried to make it look slightly overgrown on these sides. So this kind of just goes around. Got a couple of bushes there as well. You can see it gets a bit more messier. You will notice on this side, I have cleared up this bit. I'll show you that in a bit, where we can still get into there. Done a little wall here to get out, but this goes in the ground now. If we go back over to this side, which is a bit more open, same thing here. Got some bushes and got some grass and some ferns to give it a bit of texture and a bit of the vines going up, just to kind of show it a bit more overgrown. And this is a bit more open up. So we get a bit further back, we can see that I've got gravestones placed around, so I've got a bit of different variations from some simple ones, like just mix of kind of like stairs and walls, and I'm using like podzol and coarse dirt to show the kind of bits where the people are buried in. If I head round, I've got a couple of more different variations, some more broken and old ones, and same here, just some different variations. I popped a bit of a tree in here, a custom tree in here, just to give it a bit more variation, so it wasn't just all flat grassy ground. And same over this side as well. I just trying to go for a kind of overgrown-y look, given I was thinking this would be kind of like a graveyard that's been here for quite a while. I didn't want it looking too clean. If we head up here, I've done the same here, just a bit more of a, it's less overgrown on this bit, as again, like, this is meant to be a bit more of a posh area, so I kind of wanted it to look a bit slightly overgrown but a bit more well taken care of. You can see with the gravestone here, it's a bit more clean and looked after. Same around here really, other than the back. And quickly pop inside here, I'll show you what I've got done for the village transport bit. So this is all the same, and all I've done is I've just kind of done this underground so I can get into here through here now as well, and nothing here's changed. You might have seen just then, what I have done is we can't get through it. I've covered this up now so it's not just a big hole in the ground. I've given us a bit of an entrance into here. So I've kind of just terraformed this up now. I've quickly go into FreeCam. Nothing too fancy. I just wanted it to look like there wasn't a giant hole in the ground. It looked a bit more natural. So I've kind of just put a couple of stones in, textured it with a bit of grass. And this guy's still here. I have actually healed him up now since he's been around for a while. I don't want him to die. One thing I'm quite pleased with this area is the lighting I've done. So rather than what I've done before, where I've just kind of had torches under this air, under like moss carpets, and it's been quite bright, I've kind of gone with, can't actually see that, I've got two in there, put that back in, down FreeCam. I've used glow lichen to give it a bit more of a natural look, so we'll quickly go in and wait for night time. Speed it up a bit. Turn the lights off. Not mean to throw them. We can see that it's very, very natural looking out here with the light levels, and this is what I'm really kind of pleased with this area. This is all spawn proof. But if I quickly turn on mini HUD, you can see that this is all spawn proof here, so nothing's going to spawn on here. But it just looks so much better with kind of like this light level, because it looks a lot more natural, and you can kind of see the light levels from like things like hanging lights or natural lights like that. Whereas if you look kind of like out here, it's just very bright from the torches, which doesn't, yeah, it just doesn't look natural. And we go into FreeCam, you can kind of see the difference from kind of like a distance when like the torches are all spawned out. From like this is all very, very bright and kind of like unrealistic at night time, where this looks as it should do at night time, a bit darker. I've kind of gone and done this with around the house as well, made a start on this, changing this all out as well. So if we go head onto the roof here, I've done it for this area as well. As you can tell, like this has all been, I've taken all the torches out and kind of replaced this all with the same approach I've done down there. So this looks out really nice. So you get kind of the light coming out from like the torches here, or the light sources coming from here, which is correct, and around here as well. This is all more natural looking, where the lights are coming out from where they should do. And you can see the stark difference from this to this side I haven't touched, whereas the right hand side just looks unnatural at night time, where this looks really natural and nice at night time. So that's going to be a bit of a project that I'll be doing over time to replace these out, but I'm really pleased with how that's looking. But yeah, heading back to the church, this is all done now, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. As I said in the video before where I finished the church building itself, this is my first build I've done solo, and I'm super pleased with how this has all turned out. It's not going to win any awards, but for a first build and first kind of like terraforming it and everything else as well, I'll take this as a big win. one thing you probably have noticed as I was running around trying to explain everything is we've got some buildings popping up now. So Ulster Source has taken up the job of changing the village out. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for her, because there's a lot to do in the village. But she's made a start on these two now. I think she said this one is meant to be kind of like the vicarage for the church itself, so not properly being inside here yet. So she's kept this fairly simple, I think. Obviously the buildings aren't too big, and they're not meant to be kind of like anything other than decorative, really. And this one, I believe she said, is a little farmhouse, as you can see, with just a little sheep in there on his lonesome. I've not got exact plans on what she's doing too much here. I think obviously this is gonna be a slow burning project over time with how big it is, so that might disappear. I'm not sure. This, I think she's just taken the original building and kind of tweaked it and prettied it up a bit, textured it to give it a bit more of a non-standard look. But yeah, you can see she's in progress with this. Got signs and everything like that. That's what you can see with all the netherrack. If I go in free cam, actually, it's easier. So she's kind of made a bit of a layout for the village that she's going to be making progress on over time. And see if she ropes me into this, I might help her out a bit. But what to do though? I might try and bury my head in the sand a bit. But yeah, there's a lot to do on this one, so we'll kind of probably update this on as time goes on. Not probably going to dedicate a full episode to this, as I think we've got a couple of other projects I want to work on in the meantime for kind of farms and other builds that I've got planned. So this is probably just going to be a, here we've updated this building kind of approach between episodes. Yeah, we'll kind of make progress on this, and we'll get a village looking nice at some point. But with that, I think we're done for this episode. There's been a lot of building I've been doing today. I'm probably going to leave it up there for now. Very pleased, as I said, with the church and the church grounds that we've made, and probably catch you in the next episode. We've got some plans. We've got a couple of different things we want to build, and I think we're going to need to build a farm of sorts because we're hitting storage issues. So yep, thank you very much for watching if you have. I always appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.